Hey everyone, welcome to the show. I have an update to share about one of Trump's Capitol insurrectionists. It's time for an episode of Where Are They Now?
Matthew Bledsoe was arrested.
Patrick Montgomery was in court.
Jonathan Manapa will stay in federal custody.
No, I don't take responsibility at all.
39-year-old Montana resident Joshua Hughes received a text message from his girlfriend on January 5th, and she was warning him that January 6th was going to be, quote, potentially extremely violent. She also urged him not to get involved in any, quote, rioting crowd, and she warned, quote, I don't want a partner who would participate in violence. So Hughes responded, telling her that he arrived in D.C. safely, but he didn't actually address her concerns. That's called a clue and a red flag, ladies. So once he reached the Capitol on January 6th, Hughes, along with his brother, climbed and scaled the inauguration scaffolding. This was all caught on video, by the way, and Hughes was seen with a helmet attached to his backpack. Yet when he was questioned the following month, he claimed that he just went to see Trump's speech and that he and his brother planned to go sightseeing. Yeah, I've never actually taken a helmet to go sightseeing, but I guess it could come in handy. Anyway, so after scaling the scaffolding and reaching the front of the Capitol, Hughes made his way to the front of a police line where he was seen on video tearing down barriers. He forced his way past the officers, and Hughes then made his way to a Capitol entrance, and he watched while others were smashing the windows. They were using their fists. They had a stolen riot shield. One had a 2x4. He followed them into the building. He climbed in through one of those broken windows. He and his brother kind of jockeyed for the same window. And in fact, Hughes was the 9th person to enter the Capitol that day. Once he was inside, Hughes' brother went over and repeatedly kicked one of the Senate wing doors. And Hughes was standing there watching while his brother was doing this. So his brother eventually was able to break the doors open, which allowed the mob to stream inside. Then he and his brother joined in with this group that you guys will remember that chased Officer Eugene Goodman up the steps. They were confronting him. At one point, Hughes pointed at him and he aggressively yelled, quote, "They can't stop us." And then after chasing Officer Goodman up the stairs, and then as you guys probably remember, they were met with a group of additional officers. So Hughes linked arms with his brother, and then they advanced toward the police. And his brother at the same time was screaming at them. He was making threats. Well, eventually this crowd dispersed, right? The cops tried to calm the situation. Eventually they left. Sometime after that confrontation, Hughes and his brother actually entered the Senate chamber. They were one of the few who actually made it down to the Senate floor. So Hughes was watching while others, including his brother, were sifting through documents. This was paperwork that was left behind by the members of Congress. They ended up leaving the Capitol grounds sometime after 5 p.m. So as I said, they were some of the first to make it into the building, and they were there after 5 p.m. They left before the 6 p.m. curfew was issued by the D.C. mayor, but they were there for a long time. So on January 11th, Hughes and his brother turned themselves in to the local police department because they found out that the FBI had been trying to identify them. They saw their photos being circulated, but because there was no arrest warrant issued for either of them at that time, they were allowed to leave. Approximately 1 week after that, Hughes threw his cell phone into the trash. He basically was trying to dispose of evidence, but Hughes claimed that, oh, no, I threw my phone away because it wasn't working properly. So investigators were able to retrieve some messages from January 16th and later, and they discovered one of the messages was from Hughes' girlfriend. She was saying that she was angry with him about January 6th. She also suggested, oh, maybe I should go speak to the FBI and, quote, tell them how I tried to stop you and warn you for weeks up until the insurrection. Following Hughes' arrest, he made many false statements. He said that no officer ever told them to leave the building, even though that's clearly false. Unfortunately for Hughes, the video evidence is very clear. So Hughes was arrested on February 1st of last year. He was charged in a superseding indictment with civil disorder, obstructing an official proceeding, destruction of government property, entering a restricted building or grounds, entering the floor of Congress, 2 counts of disorderly conduct, and parading in a Capitol. In August of this year, Hughes pleaded guilty to the felony of obstructing an official proceeding. He was facing up to 20 years in prison, 3 years of probation, and $250,000 in fines. However, the prosecutor requested only 46 months in prison, 3 years of probation, and $2,000 in restitution. That prison term that they requested was about midway between the high and low of the federal sentencing guidelines for someone like Hughes, because he doesn't have a criminal history, as so many of them do, and because he accepted the plea deal rather than going to trial. So Hughes' attorney asked the judge to sentence Hughes to only 4 years of probation and community service. And he cited the fact that Hughes and his brother turned themselves in. They also cooperated in the investigation. I mean, I guess if you call lying to federal agents cooperation, then yes, that's what he did. Is it made with sugar? Then yes, that's what he did. So anyway, I couldn't locate many of the details about the sentencing hearing, but U.S. District Judge Timothy Kelly presided over this case, and he ended up sentencing Hughes to 38 months in prison, 3 years of probation, and $2,000 in restitution. And even Hughes' own attorney admitted that this was the right call. After the sentencing hearing, he actually told a reporter in part, quote, "Of course, we are disappointed Judge Kelly did not impose a more lenient sentence, but Judge Kelly hit the nail on the head when he called the events of January 6, 2021, a national disgrace. Without the peaceful transfer of power in a democratic form of government, you have nothing." That's his attorney. So I think he said it well. I think the judge made a good call, not as much as the prosecutors asked for, but he wasn't violent. He personally did not commit any acts of vandalism at the Capitol. But he was aggressive. He was menacing and aggressive with the officer, and he was clearly there to stop the counting. So anyway, guys, if I hear any more, I'll let you know. Thanks so much for watching and listening. Please like, share, subscribe. Please donate if you can. Greatly appreciate all of you. Take care, and I'll talk with you soon.